Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for pressing play on the video again today. Lovely to see you. And today this is our project. This is a project featuring papers from the Share What You Love suite. And I don't know if you can see that shining, but they're beautiful pearlized papers, really gorgeous and really gorgeous colour scheme. I love this one, which is crumb cake and rich raspberry. I think that's really looks very sophisticated, really gorgeous. And I'm just going to show you how I made this little card. So I'll put that one to one side. I'm going to take a card base, which is the size that I nearly always use. This is rich raspberry and it's 21 centimeters by 15 centimeters, scored at 10.5, or it's 8 1/4 inches by 6 inches, scored at 4 1/8. So that's my card blank. I then took a piece of crumb cake, which I cut to either 1 centimetre smaller all the way round or 1/2 inch smaller all the way round. So it's quite a big border around there. I'm just going to attach that with some Tombow glue. Like so. And put that on there. So if you were working in inches and your card is 6 inches long, you're going to cut it, so you're going to cut it to 5 1/2 basically. Okay, right, and then we're going to do the middle panel, for which you need a piece of rich raspberry, and you want it to be the same size as the card. Now you could do this before you stick it on. So can you see that needs to be slightly smaller. I should have done this before I stuck it on, actually. I've done it the wrong way around, but hey ho. There we go. And I've just grabbed my trimmer. Wherever it is, here it is behind me. And just trim that piece of card down a little bit to my pencil mark so that it's the right length. I lost my pencil mark now. Can't see it. There it is. Just trim that down. There we go. And then on there we're going to stick a piece of this lovely Share What You Love DSP, and this will be a bit too long, but I can trim that off afterwards after I've stuck it. You can see it's beautiful. I like both sides of this one. It was always the way. Oh, that's a bit wet. I just filled up the water in just dampened the sponge a bit in my Tombow container, so it's sucked up a little bit of water. Should be all right. There we go. I just keep a damp sponge or a piece of tissue or cotton wool in the bottom of a jar and keep my Tombow so that it's always ready to use. But sometimes if you've just dampened the sponge with a little bit too much water, the glue sucks it up. You have to get rid of that before you stick. It's not a problem. There we go, and we're going to stick that on there. So we've just got a little border of rich raspberry, and then we can come in and trim off those edges, which is quite easy to do because you can see, and you can just use your scissor blade to guide you along the card. That will just guide your scissors so you get a nice straight cut. You could do it on the guillotine, I suppose, but I find it easy doing that. Okay, there's our panel. I've just remembered I haven't got out what I need for this, so can I find it quickly? Oh, I think it might be on the next one down. Here it is. No, that's not it. I wanted this. Oh, that's it. Yes, I wanted the adhesive strips, because I want this panel to stay very solid. I don't want it to sag in places when it goes through the post. So what I've done is I've used our strips to put it on, so that gives it a really nice solid backing. Forgot I'd need them, so I didn't get them out. So I'm going to cut. I'll bring my big scissors in to do this. I'm going to cut these strips to roughly the length that I want, which is up there. I've already done that bit, look. And then can just peel them off. Got one going around there. Trim that. There we go. And just stick that. I hope you realise that with these videos I never edit anything out, so you see everything warts and all, I'm afraid. So there we go. Another one. So you probably need about 6 or 7 across this card blank, but it will give it a really nice secure place. And I know what I've forgotten to do as well is to put the ribbon on first, but never mind, we can manage, we can sort that out. Should have put the ribbon round this before I started putting the strips on, but no disasters in craft, just an opportunity to innovate, I always say. So we will innovate. So taking the backing off here, it's quite tricky actually, I find, this tape, to get the backing off. It's well stuck. There we go, just there. And this will just give it a really nice solid base rather than a few dimensionals scattered everywhere. I find this really gives it a nice, so if it goes through the post it won't get pressed down in any places. It will stand up to going through the rollers and things in the post system. There we go. So I'm carefully going to place that on my card blank. Like so. Now, like I said, really what I should have done, I have some ribbon here. Now, on my original one, I used our rich raspberry velvet ribbon, but I've not got any more of that. I only had a tiny little sample of that, and I don't have any more to make this card. So I'm actually going to use the new ruffled ribbon that's in the catalogue, which is Berry Burst. What I'm going to do, because I've forgotten to put it round the back, I'm going to use a piece of tear and tape across here. It doesn't matter if it overhangs, I'm going to trim that later. And then I'm going to take the backing off and stick the ribbon on, and then I'm going to trim the ends, and it will look like it's going round, but it won't actually be going round. So always a way out of trouble when you're crafting. There we go. Take that off, and that little bit of tear and tape, and on the other side there. So that's my ribbon, and then I've made a bow. So rather than tying it in a knot, which I didn't know would look very effective with this, which I did with the velvet ribbon, I've tied a bow, and I've put some of our tear and tape on the back to stick the bow down, so I can stick it on the ribbon and it will kind of look like it's ribbon with a bow tied in it, hopefully. So there we go. And I think this is Berry Burst ribbon, but I think it actually goes quite well with the rich raspberry. I don't think that's a problem. So that's the ribbon done at the top, and then we need to come in with the stamp and the sentiments, which are here. So I've already cut one of the stitched ovals from our stitched oval framelit shapes, and a scalloped oval from our layering ovals, and I have the greeting here that I want to use, which again I'm going to make a thank you card which says thank you so very much, which is from the Flourishing Phrases set. I've used this greeting quite a lot. I quite like it, and I have to have loads of thank you cards to send out to customers and team members and all sorts of people, so I use that a lot. So I'm using rich raspberry ink my Stamp Up, and I'm going to try and place this in the right place on my oval. There we go. What do you reckon? That all right? That looks very dark at the minute, but it will dry lighter. As the ink dries, it dries lighter. And then I'm going to come in with a little stamp that is from this stamp set. This is called Make a Difference, and it's actually a set with loads of alphabets in. It's got an uppercase alphabet, a lowercase alphabet, and a capitals alphabet as well, straight capital. So this is really nice. But one of the little things it's got is a little floral spray up here, and it actually matches the floral sprays in the papers here. So I thought that was quite nice to use on here. So I'm just going to come in and stamp it in Memento. And I don't want to ruin my grid paper, so I'm just going to stamp on a little sheet of paper so that it will stamp on there, because the whole thing isn't going to stamp on here. It's going to be hanging off. So just stamp that up, and think about where you want to position it, and stamp like so. There we go. Okay, and then all that's left to do is to colour in our little flower, a very minimal amount of colouring to do, and I'm using our blend pens. Oh, I might stick that on there in case I go over. These are Rich Raspberry, dark and light. So I'm going to start with the light one and just colour the flowers with that. Always use Memento ink if you're colouring with the blends, that won't bleed. There we go, another little flower there. And then you can come back in with the darker pen and just do the centre of the flowers. Which just adds a little bit of dimension. And then I'm coming in with the old olive pens, and again I'm going to use the light one first, and just a tiniest touch on these tiny leaves will give an inkling of colour. Like so. And then just with the darker one, just a couple of little scratches there, like that. This needs to mount onto there, and we're nearly done. Very quick little cut. Oh, again, it's made my cotton wool too wet today. Just need to squeeze off a bit of glue before I squeeze it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh no, it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Being very temperamental today, this glue. It's usually the easiest glue in the world to work with. Just going to spread that out so it's come out a bit blobby. Just going to spread it out with a cocktail stick. There we go. So I'm not just all squidge out the edges. There we go. And then to mount this, I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on one side and a dimensional on the other, because I don't want, actually I'm going to use a bit of the strip actually, I think, because then that will be exactly the same depth. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of the strip and put that on this side, and then that will make that level with the other side, with the panel that we put the tape on. So I don't want that to press down when it goes. So I don't want it to be central for some reason. I wanted it to be. So just a little bit of glue. There we go. Sort that out in a minute. It's far too wet, obviously. There we go. And we're done. So where's my other one? Two little cards, just slight differences in the ribbons, but basically really pretty, and I hope anyone who receives one of these from me will be really pleased. It might be one of my customers, so if you're shopping with me this month, this might be the card that you receive. And what I do when I send cards is I never actually write inside the card. What I do is put a post-it note with a message on, so you can take that off and then you can use this to send it on to someone if you wanted to. So I always think that you can get double use from cards like that, so I never write inside. So I hope you like my project today and that you'll come back soon. If you want to get a notification every time I post, just go below and subscribe and click on the bell below this video, and then you'll get a notification. Or you can go over to my blog, and I always put my videos onto my blog, so you can sign up to receive my blog notifications by email, and then you'll see whenever I post a video. Like I say, I always put it on there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. All the measurements will be on my blog, by the way. I haven't written all the measurements down here, but I will write them on my blog. Okay, thanks very much, and come back soon. Cheers, bye.